Pretty solid hands. Definitely gonna keep. I think because this hand has 2 black 1 mana spells, 1 red 1 mana spell, and then the basic mountain. This means that if I go Mountain Ragavan, I can't play Push and Inquisition on turn 2 unless I guess the Ragavan hits. So I think I'm probably a little more likely to want to go Inquisition on turn 1 and then maybe Push plus Ragavan on turn 2. And I think the Nihil Spellbomb being drawn does not change that at all. And let's see what we're up against. Obviously, some kind of concealed courtyard deck. And I think with the Fatal Push in my hand, it's a pretty easy choice to just take the Ephemerate here. What about Jinna Rockrick in the new low Lurrus meta? I don't think it's very well positioned. It's like pretty bad against Titan. It's not very good against 4-color Omnath. And it is good against Merc Titan, Hammer Time, and Control though. So I mean, it's got, you know, of like the 5 decks to beat, I feel like it's got 3 good matchups, so maybe it's okay. But I feel like it's not necessarily like the deck I'd be on or anything like that. Okay, so they evoke the Shriek Maw. Their hand is currently Solitude and 2 mystery cards. I'd love to draw a black source off the top. See what we see. A red source. I think I'm going to go ahead and main phase cycle the Spellbomb so that if I can draw a Urza Saga, or I guess like, yeah, Urza Saga specifically, get to play that for a little bit of value here. Have I tried a Jeskai Breachless with Fiddlebender? Seems like a cool alt to win con plus consistency. I feel like I have to say this like every week, but what I like about the Fiddlebender deck is that Oswald Fiddlebender is a mono white card advantage engine and allows you to be an artifact based mid range deck. Okay, there's our black source, but I think we're just gonna make a Saga token this turn. Fiddlebender lets you be an artifact based mid range deck while also staying mono white. So your mana is really good and you get to play a lot of artifact lands too. It's my opinion that like when you're Jeskai or blue red or red white, there are better options than Fiddlebender. Fiddlebender is not like an overtly powerful card. It's pretty fragile, but it is like a playable mono white card advantage engine for an artifact based deck. But this is something I think people, it's really easy to get lost in the sauce with Fiddlebender because it's a really cool card. So I think this is an important thing to note, you know. Okay, I'm just gonna make another token, I think. And I think I also get the second Nihil Spellbomb. They do play like those, like they do play Undying Evil in addition to Ephemerate, but it's also like, you know, could be cycle later. I don't think this is a Shadowspear game. Yeah, returning to the Gunderdome. How's the Boris Stoneblade deck position? I think it's pretty good at the moment. We played against it recently. It looks strong. I would say that deck is probably something I need to play a bit more of. I just played so much of it during the trophy race that I'm still like a little burned out on it. But it's a deck I would still recommend, of course. Spyro. Morning, Pure Bang. Good morning, everybody. Got 4-1 and 2 leagues with the Gifts to start. This felt strong. Thank you for the feedback. I did kind of feel like we were running a little bit badly yesterday. I wasn't sure. Obviously, you could have also been running good, but I definitely had higher hopes for that deck yesterday than I feel like how we performed. Okay, I'm just gonna Nihil Spellbomb this. Obviously, this shrinks the construct, but we do get a nice 2-for-1. And my opponent's got 2 cards in their hand. I feel like playing the Liliana, plussing, discarding the second Liliana, pressuring my opponent's hand is probably pretty good here. Has Terminate ever felt rough to cast with all the sagas? I know people were doomsayers because of that. It was kind of like comical to me a little bit how many people were like, I don't like, it's just surprising to me that we have this many like comments about the mana in Jund Saga. Not only here, but like the last time we streamed a deck and on Twitter. Like the mana is not perfect. The mana is not perfect. But it is pretty good, pretty consistent. The 4 copies of Wrenn and Six really help the consistency in the mana, just like it does in the 4-color Omnath deck. The mana totally works. the mana totally works. You play 9 fetch lands. It's fine. It has not felt inconsistent. Like, we played, 15 matches on Wednesday. We stumbled on mana like 2 times in 15 matches. That's like a totally normal number, even. Yeah, the mana is that is definitely true. Mana will improve with the new Triome. But there's just like some like Mega was complaining about the mana too when he played the list. I didn't have those issues. I don't know. Maybe I just have been running really good with it. We can continue to look at it today. I also see a lot of people like complaining about the mana, but like not very many people saying like the mana is misbuilt either, or like suggesting on like what we could change about the mana. Like I guess like maybe most people's complaints is we can change the mana requirements and not play the double black double red, but I haven't really felt like it's that big a deal. Yeah, maybe it's because I didn't play any like Jund Saga with Lurrus on stream. I just didn't like have too many ideas on how to improve the archetype, so I didn't play. Maybe I played like some with the Reclaimer version. Maybe I didn't. But it's like we had like some super dramatic replies to the Twitter thread. It's like, so it was kind of funny. We had a lot of people say, can we play Takenuma? I think the Takenuma would be really tough on the mana base. But we also had a lot of people going, you must be kidding, ... I often struggle trying to get double black for Lily, and I can't imagine how hard it is to get double black and double red for Spyro playing 4 colorless lands. And then someone said, the record restricts yourself, how hard is it to get black red? This is someone just asking, right? But then someone goes, I've been playing Big Jund since before the Lurrus banned, and I often find it almost impossible to get black. Almost impossible to get black. I can't imagine the struggle to get black and red. It's just not that dramatic, I feel. I really feel like it's just not that dramatic. It hasn't been that bad. That's been my impression. I guess I'll play the Wrenn and Six, but we also like don't really need to be too bothered with how we sequence this game or Superhead. Yeah, like, yeah, it's just like the mana is not perfect. The mana, like it is absolutely the case in this list. You are sacrificing some mana consistency for power level, and I think that's fine. I think that's absolutely fine. The Ragavans and the Wrenn and Sixes help a lot. But I also like, you also like can click the mulligan button if your hand doesn't contain, mana that functions. And I just generally feel like it's pretty fine. Okay, so we're gonna bring in the 2 Tourachs, the Pyrite Spellbomb. They are playing a lot of like Thoughtseizes, Thoughtseize targets that Inquisition misses. So I think I'll trim Inquisitions, play 4 Thoughtseizes, cut the Needle. I could maybe see myself playing the 2nd Terminate over the 3rd Push, since like they do have the Solitudes that Terminate hits and Push misses. I think sacrificing consistency for power level to compete against unfair decks. Yeah, I agree. Like, obviously, like, when you're talking about any deck building decision, it usually is, like, talking about sacrificing on an axis of power level versus consistency. And, like, usually it's not an even exchange. Like, I don't think we sacrifice very much consistency here for a lot of added power level. And that's usually a very good exchange, to sacrifice a little consistency for a lot of power. Playing, in my opinion, like the best 3 drops in this archetype. 4-color Omnath deck with 4 sagas to fuck with people. What do you about 4-color Omnath in Paper Magic? Is it playable, or do I prefer something against something else? It is if by playable do you mean is it a good deck? Yes, it's a good deck. That being said, I have definitely found that Yorion decks in Paper are miserable to play, especially ones with Wrenn and Six where you're just shuffling literally every single turn, and that first 80 card shuffle just takes so long too. I think if you mulligan, the 80 card shuffle takes a long time. Once you have like cards in play, shuffling is a little faster, but it's still not as fast as you might like it to be. How many Boseijus we're gonna some way? We're just keeping the one copy in. Like, it doesn't kill Cauldra. I think I'm not of the opinion that Boseiju is super good against them. You've been hating on Saga in the meta in the moment. Is there possible for a 75 that sides on Saga games 2-3 if you suspect hate? Well, I mostly have been, like, hating a little bit more on Saga on decks that are more all-in on it, if that makes sense. Like, I definitely do not feel like this is a list that is, all-in on Saga. Like, one thing I really do like about this list is, like, with Wrenn and Six, if your opponent Alpine Moons or Urza Saga, it's oftentimes not that big of a deal, because you just have a Wrenn and Six to make sure... Oh, this is the best roll. Because we have the Tourach in the hand, I'm going to get a Blood Crypt here. Yeah, but because you have Wrenn and Six, like, if your opponent blows up your Sagas, like, you are going to be able to continue to hit your land drops. So, while I do think it is reasonable to trim 1 or 2 Sagas against decks that you think have Alpine Moon or Spreading Seas, I do think that this deck specifically is a lot better at fighting the Saga hate than, like, basically every other Urza Saga deck we play. Chalice on 1. I think I'll hold up the Terminate. They have a lot of 1-drops in their deck, don't they? So do we. And we don't actually have, we have the Boseiju, I guess. Our hand's not necessarily that weak to it, but they have a lot of 1-drops too. Alright. I'd love to draw a land in the top couple cards. But Liliana can at least discard any 1-drops we draw. Have I tried the Kiki Saga in this deck? I haven't. I have played the Kiki Saga a little bit in, like, the black-red mid-range deck. What? Do they have a two? Oh, they have the Saga, the enchantment to flicker this. It's kind of fine. They have no cards in their hand. They just have the 3/2. Yeah, Touch of the Spirit. This card, I don't understand exactly why this card has been, like, so popular lately. Touch of the Spirit Realm. This card has been absolutely everywhere, and it's like, it's okay, it's cool, but I think it's pretty underpowered. The Kiki Saga is decent creativity. I think that makes a lot of sense, yeah. Yeah, I think the Kiki Saga is decent. I think it's, like, a pretty, like, I don't know, like, I need to play more with it. I currently evaluate it to be worse than Seasoned Pyromancer. Dude, they drew Stoneforge. I guess I can just Liliana whatever they get, I guess. Tourach looking pretty good on the board. Blade of the Oni. Just thin their deck of that card. Okay, pretty easy turn, looks like. Of casting Tourach. Terminating Stoneforge Mystics so we don't lose to top deck Cauldra. Plus the Liliana. Yeah, not only double black and double red, but triple black for Tourach. The touch card has upside. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's terrible either. Like, I do think it is a somewhat reasonable card to put in these decks. But I also think that it is a little underpowered. And this is definitely like a great example of a flexible card that is sacrificing power level for flexibility. You know, sacrificing power level for consistency. And in my opinion, the diminished power level of this card, in my experience playing against it so far, it does not seem like that trade-off has been worth the diminished power level. I could be wrong, and this is only my experience playing against the card rather than playing with it. But we have played against this card a lot so far, and like basically every time like my opponents cast either side of it, it's been like less efficient than any other effect like it. What version of Grixis do you prefer, Murktide or Giganta? So I haven't really been playing very much of it. I saw Soulstrong. I guess I need to Edict, because otherwise they're going to get to just attack through the Tourach with the Menace. And they go ahead and sack there. I'm gonna offer the trade. Pretty ahead on mana. I think my top decks are a little bit better. I'm behind on life. Yeah, let me see if we can pull up Soulstrong's list. Like, I haven't been playing Shadow very much, just because, like, oh, come on. These top decks. Alright. I thought the Soul Strung list looked pretty good. I like the one copy of Kaito in the main, one on the side, 2 Tourach. This list is playing Giganta. I thought this list looked pretty good. I am of the opinion that you should play Bobble or Street Wraith, but not both. Do I have outs to Cauldron? I'm not sure. I can't cast the Spellbomb because of the Chalice. So maybe seeing that they boarded Chalice, I'm gonna bring in a second copy of Boseiju. Yeah, but I mean, that's the other thing about this archetype too, though, is that there is just like, I don't think there's like a super wrong way to build the Shadow deck, the Grixis Shadow deck. There doesn't seem to be like any one variant that just like looks horribly misbuilt. No, I'm not playing Kroxa. I think Kroxa with Boseiju and Urza Sagas, I think that card is too hard on the mana. That card is like way harder to cast than Black 1, Red 1. We can keep this. Symbolist and Lily instead of Kaito. Yeah, again, that also doesn't seem like poorly built, you know. Yeah, that's definitely been my impression, is that there's really just like no wrong way to build the deck. There's probably a best way to build it, but probably no wrong way. Thoughts on Red Black X with Hitsutsu and Blood Moon? Well, you can play those cards together. Like, you usually have to play the Grief version, since like that gives you access to early plays that don't get blown up by HCA, and they're fine, I think. I think that they're probably even like a little underplayed. Alright, second Wrenn and Six. You can beat Cauldron with Shadowspear Lily. Well, I couldn't beat Cauldron with Lily that game because they had a Stoneforge Mystic to sack to it. But yeah, I do know about the Shadowspear trick. I guess, yeah, and I would have to, I would have to draw, like, because they had Chalice on one, I also couldn't Shadowspear. Explosives on 2, deal. So you would have the backup Wrenn and Six. Dude, if their next turn is just sack explosives, we are sitting pretty, huh? Okay. Surely they're not gonna let this ability resolve and let me get something back with Wrenn. Obviously, I guess it's not that big a deal. I have all lands in hand. Liliana definitely helps fight against Mana Flood. I might get the All Access Pass. Normally I can't play any deck with Monkey. Yeah, I think the All Access Pass is going to be really nice for a lot of players. What do you think about Boseiju? Boseiju's good. I don't know. If you have like a more specific question about Boseiju, I can maybe answer, but it's like, I think Boseiju is a good card. I don't think it is like super redefining an archetype like Jund, but it is like really nice for Tron and Titan to have like main deck answers to Blood Moon and like more answers to Alpine Moon. And it feels more impactful at like being a good answer in Tron and Titan than it is at answering those decks, has been my experience playing with and against Boseiju. I also feel like that was my evaluation going into it too, and I feel like Boseiju doesn't let you cast Layer Spiral turn 3. Checkmate. All Access Pass? Yeah, so if you go to... Let me make sure I'm not going to show any, like, personal info. I don't think so. Yeah. So if you go to the store on Magic Online, if you buy the Mythic Event token, this will allow you to both enter a tournament and have access to every card on Magic Online for the next 2 weeks. And every art you want too. Next 2 weeks or so. I'm not actually sure exactly what the time frame is, but it's around 2 weeks. Till April 6th. Which is very, very nice, very good value. It's also like pretty funny to see like this deal come up when there's like all this drama about all this drama about the arena, $50 for like 6 wild cards or whatever. All cards to play anything you want. Yes, all cards to play anything you want. You also get to play in this tournament, but in the meantime, while you're playing in the tournament, wait, they didn't cast the Chalice? I guess because they have the Ephemerate. They don't even have anything to pitch. I'll take the Cauldron. Again, this is not something that is always going to be around. Like, this is not something that you can always do. And, like, you do lose the cards after April 6th. But that is, yeah, that is, like, 13 days of getting to play whatever you want for $25. Plus, like, you also, like, you get the money, you get the EV of the $25 because you get to play in a tournament, too. So it's like you know, it's not like the money just completely goes away too. So it's a very good deal. It's a very good deal. Although you need a second token to play in the tournament, that could be the case. That's not the impression I'm under though. If I've told you wrong, if I've led you astray, I apologize. Oh boy. And somehow we had the mana to do it all, huh? There's a specific tournament. There's a bunch. It's a bunch of different like medium-sized tournaments that you could compete in. Tournament entry costs 2 tokens. Okay, I didn't realize that. I did steer you wrong. 1 token is cards. 2 tokens is tournament entry. I think it maybe worked the other way before. I could be misremembering. Keep. Eternal Weekend, you'll need 1 token. Okay. So definitely a good time to be getting into Magic Online. Okay. Drawing or Terminate is definitely a good place to be in this spot. If I cast the hammer, it makes my future Urza Saga tokens bigger. And if I hit a paladin off the monkey, I obviously just get to do the... get to go nuts. Go bananas. So this token only works like 2 days before SCG Dallas. Yep, that's when April 6th is. Yeah, you do still need to pay for the league fees, but also the league fees are really good EV. Yeah, opponent obviously not casting the hammer into the shocked Overgrown Tomb. I don't love necessarily drawing all these Ragavans, but we do probably get to trade Ragavan for something here. And then I can either go Ragavan plus Shadowspear, or play a Goyf and hold up Terminate. It's kind of close. I think I'll play the Goyf. Question in Cabal Covers deck. Have I looked into any monocolor splashes? Just setting shocks. Was feeling adding green for Goyf could be good. And the deck is shot for space. The deck doesn't feel like it needs to splash a color for power level purposes, which is usually like why you're... Dude, we have gotten so many quads lately. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous how many times we've had quads lately. Yeah, I'm not of the opinion that the deck is like particularly strapped for space. I don't feel like the deck sacrifices a lot in power level by being a monocolor. That being said, I also think if you can splash a color if you think that there is something good in the metagame or something that jives with the plan. It's possible. It is not free. It costs you a decent amount, but it is possible. But Tarmogoyf is not the card you want to splash. one of the main things that is really good about the mono black deck is that you are basically immune to creature removal. Creature removal is incredibly ineffective against you, which is always a great place to be in Modern. You know, again, having creature removal be largely ineffective against you. Yes, they do have another hammer in their hands. If I terminate this, instant and artifacts go to the yard, making go for 5/6. This will still be a 6/6 after the hammer is cast, though. So I think I'm just jumping here. And then if they go to damage, I just think I just have to take the hit. Not that I probably have too many outs. But if I cast the Terminate on the Midnight, then they get to hammer on the Ornithopter. And we lose. We're going to probably lose anyways. So if I play Ragavan, this costs only 1 mana to channel. Really wish I could also equip the Shadowspear, but I can't. Does the token just outvalue mana tradition? Like, yes, but the thing is, like, the tokens are, like, they're not usually available. It's usually, like, 2-3 times a year, right? Maybe 4. Okay, we know they've got another hammer in their hands, so like we just can't beat the Paladin here. Game 2. We're gonna bring in the Alpine Moons, the Culling Rituals, first copy of Tourach, 2 copies of Boseiju, the Terminate, the Pyrite Spellbomb. Cutting 3 of the copies of Thoughtseize, the 2 copies of Nihil Spellbomb, 3 Lilianas, 1 Ragavan. I also usually bring in the. Oh, I did bring in the first Tourach. Okay, yeah, this has been my sideboard plan so far. I've been liking it. That being said, on Tuesday, we were 13-2, and one of our 2 losses was to Hammer. I think we did also beat Hammer at least once, maybe twice. I mean, I think it's obviously like pretty fine matchup, but it's still Hammer. No cut land since you had 2 Boseiju. No, because like you're wanting to channel Boseiju in this matchup. Boseiju in this matchup is mostly a spell. Like you obviously can play it as land, but I would say that the vast majority of the time you're going to be channeling it. Although this game I may play 1 as land and then just start channeling. I think we put back the Tarmogoyf here. Am I getting a preview card for Cap? I haven't been told that I am, so if they've already given them out, I'm not. Okay, I think that I'm going to get a Blood Crypt, play Boseiju, and then ping the Sentinel with the Wrenn. I cut some Goyfs because they always felt clunky and useless first hammer. Clunky and useless is not something I necessarily agree with. You do have to kill them. It's also one of your answers to this card, which is incredibly important to deal with. As for Sentinel, Stoneforge Mystic, Pure Steel Paladin, Colossus Hammer. Pretty strong hand, huh? I think I take the Stoneforge Mystic. How did Grixis go yesterday? Not as well as I was hoping. Someone said that they played it and had back-to-back 4-1s. I think maybe we counter-ran kind of bad. Paladin's not doing much here with our double removal spells, and they don't have Metalcraft. We do have 1 Liliana, 2 Culling Rituals, 1 Pyrite Spellbomb as answers to the Sanctifier. I could channel on the hammer now. I don't love giving them an extra mana next turn. And they do have another. Oh, this is so tough. I think that I should. Thank you, Fire Breathing Hamster. Okay, so we're going to lose our Wrenn and Six, unfortunately. I am going to bring back the Boseiju. Just pass. Bolt the Thopter. I mean, I think I'd rather Bolt the Thopter in response to, like, my opponent goes Paladin, or they go Sentinel, then Paladin, I'll Bolt the Sentinel, pay 1. Oh, they're just gonna equip. Okay, that's fine. I don't think I need to channel on the Shadowspear here. It does really stink to not get to use my mana. But Tarmogoyf, Liliana of the Veil. Always to get... Culling Ritual are always to get out of this spot. Let me go ahead and Bolt the Sentinel. And I don't think I'm pushing the Ornithopter. I do only have 1 Lily. Obviously, if I draw Lily, I'd really have wanted to do this, but... Okay. So obviously, Culling Ritual makes me regret my decision to get back Boseiju and not a fetch land. That being said, I can Legend Rule the Boseijus to cast the Culling Ritual. I think I would like to wait, ideally. There's a good chance my opponent commits 1 more permanent into the Culling Ritual, and I don't feel like I'm under any pressure to really play anything out right now. And we may even draw another land besides the Boseiju. Okay, I think it's obviously like a bit awkward to play Goyf when we have Culling Ritual in our hand, but this does lock down the board and like kind of forces my opponent to commit more into the board. Oh boy, well this was a good decision for us, I think. Okay, they started to pay cost and then stop. I am like actually a little concerned about Spell Pierce. Okay, well, I can't do anything about that right now. I do have the Boseiju in my hand to potentially respond to a hammer. Their hand is Sentinel, still 2 mystery cards, now 3 mystery cards. One of them was a Seacrum Coast. Boseiju the Aid. I mean, the Culling Ritual kills the Sigarda's Aid, and they can also respond. I'm just gonna pass back again. This could be the turn for the Culling Ritual. I can't play anything else off the mana. I think they might have Spell Pierce. I'm just okay to, like, wait still. Surely I'll draw a land at some point, right? I guess, these were some of the lands I boarded in. Okay. Three mana on my instep. I think I need to push the chip. We know their hand is Paladin, mystery card. That mystery card's a hammer. We're obviously like kind of toast. I think it's a Spell Pierce though. Lots of Goyf and Murktide decks. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Would they not have pierced Wrenn and Six? They might have. They should have probably. It's also true. I think we're supposed to cast the Wrenn and Six to bait the Spell Pierce. It is also true. Sometimes my opponents are supposed to do things and don't. But I think at the very least, like right now, because I've got the Boseiju in my hand, I don't really need to do anything. But yeah, I think it's become less likely that they have the Spell Pierce. But again, I just don't need to do anything right now. Can wait. Okay, I'll play the Saga. I guess I'll bother attacking for 3. I guess I could have also dashed the Ragavan. We're not going to really use this excess mana very well. Or at all, actually. But I will play the Ragavan. I can still channel the Boseiju, because I've got the Ragavan discounting the channel cost. Oh yeah, dude, Hardcast Cauldron is actually, like, concern. Okay. Long game 2, but we did win game 2. Yeah, mana burn. Yeah, but that would definitely make Culling Ritual a lot worse. Jen, feel good? Yeah, we're currently 14-2 with this 75. +1 Tourach to follow up Ritual. I mean, if we're casting Ritual, we're usually doing pretty well. I don't think we necessarily need to do that. I don't think it'd be terrible. You just cast the Tourach, pro white. If we say a little awkward against the giver. Needle's the Boseiju. Pretty sure I play the Saga here and just Wrenn and Six get back Catacombs. Oh, they Needle Boseiju who shelters all. I'll let them know. I'll let them know. And I'll treat it like it's needled. Oh, they realized. We're just gonna Culling Ritual it anyways. Yeah, they could have named Borborgmos. Morgan, thank you for the 18 months. Appreciate you. Okay, they do have Metalcraft. They can hit me for 11 here. And they should give this protection from black before they attack. But we can go to 5. You never have been at 5 before, kid? Then we have Wrenn and Six plus Boseiju, which is pretty nice. Looks like another turn where we're not going to have anything to do off the Ritual mana. Dude, if this could make red. This could make red, huh? Also can't even, like, make a Saga token. Oh, I should attack for 2. I always get so lazy with Wraths. I just, like, not attack for 2. Draw your card. No, Ritual doesn't make a construct because we have to tap the Saga to cast the Ritual. Okay, we've got Saga or Alpine Moon for Saga. They have 3 other cards in their hand. One of them is a Stoneforge Mystic. Let's see what they grab with it. I do just have a second Ritual in my hand, but yeah, I decided. Yeah, I couldn't pay the 11. They get a chip. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna tap here, and I might. Well, since I've got the Ritual, maybe I should just get like Pyrite Spellbomb. Then it's also true that I can Culling Ritual again here. But not, like, super efficiently, effectively, whatever. I can go... This is a surprisingly difficult turn. I can go Wrenn and Six, get back Verdant Catacombs for a red source, but I go down to 2 to do so. So how about I just... Alpine Moon their Sagas. Play a tap Blackcleave Cliffs and make a token. Best case scenario, they just move the chip over to the Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, Alpine Moon not symmetrical. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people don't know that. We got that question a lot on Tuesday. Good lesson to learn. Yeah, Alpine Moon Urza's armor. So we could just Pyrite Spellbomb the Stoneforge Mystic if we want to. I think that I am just going to make a mana. And then get the Shadowspear. And then go green. Yeah, so let's go green-red for Wrenn and Six. Bring back a Saga. Plays a Saga. Equip the Shadowspear. Attack 4, gain 4, and then kill the Stoneforge Mystic second main phase. Why not Wrenn by the Verdant Boseiju the chip? I'm at 5 life. I'm not that. I don't think. I don't need to Boseiju the chip here. Like if they just spend 3 mana to reconfigure, that's their entire turn. Maybe they get 1 card off of it, but then I can just Pyrite Spellbomb next turn. The chip is really not that powerful without like being able to equip for 0 mana. Speaking of, that's a powerful card though. Actually, if they have a hammer, we're dead. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they don't have a hammer. About to die to 8 hammer jellyfish. Yeah, I didn't think that they had it. Maybe this was unnecessarily risky. Oh, this is actually... It's bad to also do this first, too. Oh, boy. Oh, wait, no, hold on. So we let this resolve, then we activate Shadowspear's flavor text. And then we also push this so they can't, like, Spell Pierce after they get Boseiju. Almost forgot about the Shadowspear text. I think I'll get a regular land in play here. Oh man, almost forgot. Opponent hits us with the GGs, and we're now 15-2 with this list. No, I think control's starting. The meta's starting to settle for the control decks, Vista. I think that I think Bant is probably still totally fine. Like I would maybe even still play Bant because the Bant is like it's so much better against the Yorion decks than the blue-white list is, and it's also like really good in the mirror match. Gonna obviously mulligan this hand. Keep this. Probably put back the Shadowspear. I think I'm gonna just start putting the overall record on the screen for my own purposes. Oh, I meant to put back the Shadowspear, and then I accidentally didn't, and then they're playing Prowess, so I actually want the Shadowspear. That is just how we drew it up, I guess. Just how we drew it up. Why Culling Ritual versus Crime Punishment? That is how I tell you, just tuned in. Culling Ritual answers Sanctifier and Vec, which, as we saw last round even, is super duper important. Okay, so they played this was a unknown card, so right now it's just Manamorphose and a mystery card. I've missed Sprite Dragon, happy to see this. Sorry, I'll move it. It's kind of awkward. You can't like exactly pixel perfect move these things. It's a little janky. I don't have the manual dexterity required for this. I think I'm just gonna play Boseiju as a land here, so I don't take 2 more damage. How does Crime Punishment doesn't kill, not Sanctifier, doesn't target? Let me reread Crime Punishment, I suppose. I thought it was just it destroys only mana value X. It's not X or less, is it? Yeah. So Punishment does kill Sanctifier, but it only kills Sanctifier, right? But Culling Ritual will come down, kill your opponent's Sigarda's Aids and Paladins and Stoneforge Mystics and Hammers. It just kills their whole board. I think I'm actually just not gonna plus the Liliana. They only have 1 card in their hand. It's unlikely to be that relevant, and I want to play the Shadowspear out. Dixon, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate you. Those of Urza if you do agree for green black. Yeah, that's true, but you also have like your deck is generally pretty good against Urza Saga too. I think I'll just eat it now. I think in general people just salivate a little too much about getting value against Urza Saga when it's like pretty easy to blow out Urza Saga. Okay, I don't think I'm casting this Thoughtseize. How am I feeling with Lily? The deck is worth 4 slots. I think Liliana is very important to the deck's construction. I don't think it's not like the best value play, but it's a really important role player. I'm really happy with the 4 copies at the time of making this comment. Obviously, you know, things can change. Okay, Bolt's me, which is gotta be a mistake when I can just equip a Shadowspear to a Seasoned Pyromancer here. I guess I can also force them to dart my Ragavan. How does Culling Ritual kill Invec? So even though Sanctifier Invec has protection from black, destroy all effects like Supreme Verdict or Culling Ritual do not get counterfeited by protection. They still will destroy creatures with protection from that color. Oh, oops! I meant to fetch in response, but guess it doesn't matter. Also playing Vraska Golgari Queen to sack Neon lands, get the back 3 and 6. I love Vraska Golgari Queen. I really like that card. I think it's a little underpowered in Modern these days. I did actually used to play a lot of that card in Jund. I think it's probably a little underpowered, but you know, if that's something you want to do, I would definitely enjoy watching you do it. I also think in general, like, I kind of want to shy away from 4-drops. Like, I don't think, like, you know, you see me not playing any, like, 4-drops in the main deck, and I just kind of, like, think that I'm pretty happy just maxing out with this curve. Since, like, you already have such a good late game with the Saga plan. Thoughts on Kaito? I like Kaito. I like it. I have like a Ninja Reanimator deck that used Kaito that I liked. I think Kaito's fine in like Grixis decks too, in the main and sideboard. God's Shadow just 5-0'd with Grixis Task Control Baby Jays. It's exciting. It's also God's Shadow, you know what I mean? It's kind of like Hayashi 5-0'ing with any mono red cards, you know. I'm gonna get. Oh, so what, I just resubmitted. What am I doing? Sorry. Sorry, I was just looking at chat. I need to get some water. I feel a little dehydrated. I think this looks like a good sideboard plan against them. I think I like 1 Culling Ritual, not more than that. Okay, this looks good. I'm gonna get some water though. Okay, on the draw against Mono Red Prowess. This hand's pretty bad. I think I have to mulligan this on the draw against Prowess. Just like, yeah, no 1-mana removal is just so bad to have against this deck. I think with the Seasoned Pyromancer, I'm probably never casting the Ritual. No 1-drop. Well, I guess I would have been probably somewhat happy to keep that first hand then. I don't think Questing Beast is playable in Modern anymore. At one point, maybe, not anymore. I don't think I've ever said, what? They're playing Stormwing and I'm getting God. My other hand had to Terminate. No. Oh. Do I mind going in thought process between Chris versus Lily? Well, yeah, I see a lot of comments in the chat about it again. We've already kind of talked about this like very much at length, but we can go into it again. Again, the idea is that Grist is maybe more of a it's definitely a better value play than Liliana of the Veil. Like there's no denying that Grist is like a better value engine, but Jund is not just a value deck. If you want to play the most grindy, the best card advantage mid-range deck, you need to play the Omnath deck. But what Jund, in my opinion, is good at is playing a lot of cheap, efficient threats and a lot of interaction against your opponents, like against the more linear decks and like racing them. And so like I think that Liliana the Veil is like perfect for that game plan where against the big mana and combo decks you get to pressure their hand in a really meaningful way. Where Grist is like embarrassingly bad. Grist is like an embarrassing card to play against big mana and combo decks. And so like Liliana is a really important role player to answer these kind of cards rather than Liliana just being a good mid-range 3-drop in general. And I've been really happy with the card. It also plays really well with the full 4 copies of Wrenn and Six. It plays well with Seasoned Pyromancer too, since like Seasoned Pyromancer wants your hand to be empty when you cast it. So like there's definitely... Oh, dude, Vapor Snag? Seasoned Pyromancer wants your hand to be empty. Just like I feel like there's just a lot of overlapping synergy. Would it take it for 4-drops to be good again in Modern? 4-drops are good at Modern, just not like the 4-drops that you want to play. Omnath, Jace the Mind Sculptor, the Wandering Emperor, Wilderness Reclamation, Memory Deluge, Karn the Great Creator are all example of good Modern 4-drops. Like this is like something you these are the kinds of questions we get all the time. What would it take for X? I'm just gonna play around my opponent having nothing. I don't think I can beat anything here. Yeah, can't beat that one. We get these kind of questions all the time. Luris is banning 3-drops in the format. That just wasn't true. And 4-drops are good at Modern. It's just not the 4-drops you want to play. And I just think in this deck you don't want to play 4-drops in your main deck because you have such a good late game with the Wrenn and Six Urza Saga plan. You just want to have a generally lower mana curve to lean into your deck's strengths. Alright, just gonna resubmit this, I think. I'm a little new, so I've been told to avoid drops. Yeah, I think that's like maybe fine. Like, I do think good deck building advice. Oh yeah, sorry, I should take out the needle. Okay, Spellbomb. Oh, too late. Got a needle in the deck. And I think we've got a mulligan. It's close. Ragavan on the play is probably pretty good. Saga's probably not that bad either. Yeah, I have 4-drops in the sideboard, but it's just like... I think general, if you're trying to like build decks in Modern, if you're new to building decks in Modern, the advice of like lowering your mana curve is really important. I'd say that... I would say that the average brew has like way too many... mana curve needs to be lowered by a lot. I think I've got too many 1-drops to bring in the Chalice. Would I place the Endurance, the sideboard, and bank control? I don't have any of them or money for it. Some number of Rest in Peace. Like at least maybe 4 Rest in Peace. I guess I'm playing the Goyf. It does die to Lightning Bolt here, but I think with the Seasoned Pyromancer in my hand, I just want to use my mana. If it dies to Bolt, you know. It dies to Bolt. Okay, no longer dies to bolts. Assuming they cracked their fetch. They didn't crack their fetch. If I play Modern right now, would you be comfy cutting C's like Wafu? I would be, but I'm so, you know, I just can't do this every day. Talk about, like, the minute changes Wafu makes to the blue-white deck. Blue-white players just love to sit and talk about, like, the teensy tiny itty-bitty changes to blue-white every single day, and I don't care that much these days. It's like if I start, I'll start working on blue white at some point. I'm sure I'll start to like, you know, be caring more. But it's just like we can't do this all day every day, chat. just like talk all day about the tiny teensy tiny little details. And it's just like, next week we'll be talking about playing Spreading Seas and blue-white again. It's just, you know, it's all kind of fun. Yeah, Think Twice, Spike. What do you think about Think Twice? I think it's pretty bad, you know. The Sea Blue-white plays an extra island over Stokeover. Yeah, exactly. It's just like the smallest things ever. It's, you know, I understand, embrace it if you are a blue-white player, but as someone who's like just currently kind of like more focused on the red-black decks because that's what's interesting to me with Lurrus being banned. I'm just quickly becoming over it. I think I should keep the Bolt in hand because they're dead to another Goyf attack plus the Bolts. Yeah, and I definitely say this as someone who's played tons and tons and tons of Control in Modern. Like I've definitely have been part of the problem. I definitely have been part of the problem. Yeah, Goyf is great in Modern. 2 Deluge or Factor Fiction Deluge. I will say I do actually feel like I would just play the second Deluge before the first Factor Fiction, even in the Snapcaster deck, but that's also because I'm you know, maybe me making these comments is me just trying to fight my nature, you know? I'm just trying to fight it. Must resist the urge to nitpick about Control. Alright, let's just attack with the Goyf. I think it's pretty likely that my opponent is going to block and then potentially try to shrink the Goyf with the Spyro. Or sorry, the Soulscar Mage. They don't do that, that's fine. I'll just pass. Should play Alchemy. We have almost 8 players if we get 3 more. I mean, I've actually heard that Alchemy is supposed to be pretty fun at the moment. I don't know. If the arena economy was better and like easier to manage a collection, I would like be dipping my toes into it. But it's just like, even for a super enfranchised player like me, like as someone who is a full-time Magic player, not very realistic for me to play Alchemy. And I think that that's a problem. Maybe a discussion for a different day. But like I don't feel like Alchemy is accessible to even someone like me. Okay, so now they're down to 6. Goyf hitting is lethal. They do have a Lava Dart in their yard. I'm gonna go ahead and I think Terminate end of turn. And then I can get basics off of these, so I don't really need to. I think fetch now. I think keeping the life total high is somewhat of our priority here. Okay, and then the Wrenn and Six should let me attack with the Seasoned Pyromancer. Franchise players should be adverse to Alchemy to the nature of format nerfing cards. I don't know, like, this is something that a lot of people get like super nitpicky. Alchemy is not real Magic, blah blah blah, whatever. As to be honest, like what real Magic to me is fun. that's like literally my only qualifier for me being interested in a format. Is the format fun? Do I enjoy playing it? There's like, I don't really care that they're like, I think it's cool. I don't think that them doing this experiment of like nerfing and changing cards is inherently bad. As long as the format is good and it's accessible to me, I'm interested in it. And if it's not good, if it's not accessible to me, I'm not interested in it. I think it's totally fine for games to change, you know. Perhaps MTGO isn't for me. Yeah, it's at the moment not for me. Yeah. Who'd have thought Alchemy is fun? I think Ali Andrazi, I don't want to misquote him, but I'm pretty sure he like recently tweeted that Alchemy is really good, but the economy is just so bad. Obviously, like that, it's also like people like a lot of different things about Magic. You know, there is something that appeals to everybody, and I think that is for the good of the game. Is that there is a little something for everybody. There's an opportunity cost to making Alchemy a thing. This is an important point to me. I guess. I don't know. It's like I don't necessarily feel like Alchemy is taking away from anything else. Maybe it is, and I'm just naive to that fact. 8/8 Murktide Regents. Oh boy. They don't have any other instants or sorceries in their yard. I don't think I'm supposed to attack here. I think Alchemy is taken away from Pioneer. You might want to consider that they don't want a Pioneer Arena, like it's no longer in their plans. I mean, Pioneer hasn't been in their plans for a long time on Arena. I don't know. I guess. It's also like definitely the case that like the player base kind of like voted with their time and their money on Pioneer. Like it's not pretend like you know, it's not like just because Pioneer's only on Magic Online, it died for a while. Like like Modern was at least thriving on the client. Okay, I'm going to chump block with my endurance here, I think. So I don't die to 2 bolts. I could target them with the endurance trigger, but then my Goyf shrinks by 1, and it dies to 2 bolts. So if I'm playing around 2 bolts, that doesn't make a lot of sense to target them. HD, they go 3 months. Appreciate ya. Ooh, dang it. That feels bad. Feels so bad. 2 cards on the bottom. Post Comet Sphere. So I can bolt them, but I'm going to save the bolts because if I draw Wrenn and Six or another bolt, I win. Okay. I didn't do either of those things. Drew a land. Now I'm going to bolt the the Stormwing, play a Goyf, pass. Need to top deck something. Monkey, the 2 months, appreciate ya. Yeah, I think the Pioneer is picking back up in popularity, but I don't know. I also think Alchemy, like, appeals to, like, not necessarily Pioneer players, but it appeals to Standard players who are bored because Standard's kind of, you know, boring. Wait, they're shocking? So now they're dead to a Lightning Bolt off the top again. Because they have Stormwing as their last card. So I can draw Terminate to deal with a Stormwing and maybe survive. My opponent says, oops, XD. Oh, yeah, they also die to Wrenn and Six if they tap the Islet. Okay, so I have 6 outs. No, 5 outs. I only have 2 more bolts. Mega Leaf, thank you for the 3 months. Appreciate ya. Well, this is definitely the most exciting draw. 2 more looks. I should probably have fetched the Thin, but I shouldn't have because the bolt was on the top, not after I shuffled. Woo! Let's go, dude. Let's go. It's not really ready for the Prowess matchup. 3-color money pile? That's maybe a good name for the deck. Can I mention a few decks this deck has a tough time beating? I mean, I think the 4-color Omnath deck is a bad matchup. We haven't run into it. Like, I think to be honest, like, I feel like this deck has a ton of game against every deck in the format, but has a bad Omnath matchup. And it's also, like, you can still beat Omnath sometimes. You're probably, like, between 40 and 45% to beat Omnath. And, that's fine, I think. I think that's fine to have that one bad matchup in the metagame. Tron's probably a nightmare. No, Tron, like, this is something that people I don't think really understand. Is that, like, people are under the impression that Tron is, like, very much a nightmare now, but I really feel like Ragavan is just so strong. Ragavan and Boseiju are, like, 2 cards that, like, really swing that matchup in your favor. Just, like, having, like, 3 Boseijus plus Wrenn post board. Also the Alpine Moons. Like, we haven't lost to Tron yet. Playing against Glimpse. This is probably a bad matchup. Torp Orb in the board. Torp Orb is like, I think we have Tourach and we have Boyle as our sideboard cards against the Tron deck. I think that those are really the 2 best cards you can play. I say this a lot. People are like really obsessed with making that matchup good. You can't make it good. If you have 4 Torp Orbs and 4 Boyles in your sideboard, you still have a bad Omnath matchup. You can still in like maybe that puts it closer to like 50-50. But it's just like, just don't worry about having a good matchup against it, okay? That is really my advice to you. That is like your one like glaringly bad matchup in the current metagame. And it's okay to have one glaringly bad matchup. What are we doing here? Kind of like Wrenn and Six ping a token. Just to like, if they do have Glimpse, maybe make it to where they can't go off. Yeah, like, there's no way to build this deck to have a good matchup against literally every deck in the format. It's not possible. Is there another Cascade spell? Bummer. They didn't even bother attacking first. I guess they have the Chancellor to attack with, though. So now if they want, they can Karn for a Shardless Agent to Cascade again. We do have one Chalice in the sideboard. No, opponent's playing Glimpse combo. Pedro, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. I think Urza Thopter Foundry combo is a good place right now, or does it need some work? I mean, it always needs some work, but I think it's probably okay. Yeah, if you are looking to play this deck and you don't want to have the mana traders, you can get the token in the store, the Mythic Event token. This will give you 2 weeks of any modern deck you want, or any Magic Online deck you want. Yeah, they only run 7 Cascade spells main. And then they have a Shardless Agent in the board for Karn. Lots of team of Rhinos with Karn. I think it's okay. A fine way to build it. Okay. Let's go bring in the Chalice. And you know, part of the reason I wanted to play this today is like the All Access token is out, right? And so I am interested in playing this deck some more against the Omnath deck. We have completely dodged the Omnath matchup thus far, and I would like to playtest the matchup a little bit more, just to see. Like, I do not think we're favored, but I just want to see how bad it is. Culling Ritual might be okay. Yeah, this is a really common question we're getting these days. 4 Thoughtseize versus 2 Inquisition. Why, Spike? Don't you know that this is modern, and you play 4 Inquisition, and you play like 2 or 3 Thoughtseize? But this is a pretty out-of-date mindset, in my opinion. For the foreseeable future, and for a long time, in my opinion, Thoughtseize has just been better than Inquisition of Kozilek in Modern. Burn is no longer a tier 1. Burn nor Prowess are not tier 1 in Modern. So, like, keeping your life total super low is not as relevant. It's also less relevant in this deck with Shadowspear. But there is also no end to really important cards to discard that Thoughtseize hits that Inquisition misses. Karn the Great Creator, Murktide Regent, Omnath, Solitude, Fury, Karn the Great Creator. I always say Karn the Great Creator. Primeval Titan are like I shortlist, but Yawgmoth is super important. It just goes on and on and on. the list of really important cards that Thoughtseize hits and Inquisition misses. Thoughtseize is better in Modern than Inquisition, and it will be for the foreseeable future. It's a Fairy Hero of Dominaria is another huge one. And this is another thing, Jund players, if you want your Omnath matchup to increase a little bit, stop playing less than 4 Thoughtseize. If you want your Omnath matchup to get better, stop playing less than 4 Thoughtseize. Not that it solves the matchup, but it helps. Consider Golos in the Mob Black Coffers list. Golos is probably pretty sick. It's maybe just good as a Karn target. But yeah, I kind of like the idea. Golos. I wonder if Golos is better than Invoke Despair. Invoke Despair is pretty good though. Yeah, we are down a game. BW, thank you for the 14 months. You also probably have to pay the Cascading Cataracts, but that's fine, because you're in a report deck too. Yeah, you have to play the 5-color land. And World Tree? Well, punished for not playing my Verdant Catacombs. Yeah, what does World Tree do? As long as you control 6 more lands tap for any color. Sack it, search your library for a number of God cards, put your battlefield. Well, I'm not putting any God cards in my deck. Why are we playing World Tree? What? I'm not gonna put any God cards in my deck. Right? Unless there's like, I don't know. Oh, you play World Tree for the Golos activation. Well, isn't Cascading Cataracts better because it enters untapped? Maybe I should have bolted them end of turn. I think I'm gonna bolt them now. Let's grab the Goyf, obviously. Counter makes 5 mana with 6 input. I think that the untapped land probably matters more in your Urborg deck, but I could be wrong. Okay, so they have the Charlotte's Agent still in their hand. We need to draw a Boil or a discard spell right now. We do force them to block one of the Goyfs. Probably blocks the Ragavan too. So they're going to cascade with probably 6 permanents, which is probably a win. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're only playing Jund today. This Golos deck sounds kind of sick. Counteract is specifically better because Cabal doesn't let you filter Woodburg. That's true, yeah. What? Chandra Awakened Inferno and Vraska Golgari Queen. Pretty, or possibly beatable. They also have the Seasoned Pyromancer ETB. It's a big problem that's because one of my 2 Goyfs, they have 2 elemental tokens. Guess I have to draw like Shadowspear. Ooh. Well. Alright, we fall to 3-1 this league. I didn't glimpse this seemed like a bad matchup. I don't think that the deck is in any way like inconsistent or underpowered. Probably Burn, right? Ugh, this hand is so bad against Burn. I will say the Burn matchup is not super bad, probably, since we have the Shadowspear Urza Saga plan. Okay, thankfully not Burn, but unfortunately probably something, probably Dredge. But we do have the Nihil Spellbomb in our opening hand. Okay. Yeah, I do have a lot of graveyard hate. The Gloves that can lose to itself. It doesn't really. I haven't seen it lose to itself very often. I think that is an assumption that people are under. I just don't think it's really true. Okay, do I want to? I don't think I need to Spellbomb just to hit the Narcomoeba. I can just like ping the Narcomoeba or go like Wrenn and Six land bolt if I want. Yeah, it's ping. And then I don't think I'm gonna want to Thoughtseize this game. Is there anything that I can effectively Pithing Needle? I don't really think it doesn't stop Ox, doesn't stop. They don't play Shriekhorn anymore. I could name a fetch land, but they're not. It doesn't even look like they're playing fetch lands. No, Needle doesn't stop Escape. This is like I don't know why people still don't know this. Needle doesn't stop Escape. But yeah, people are still asking that. Ghoul? Oh, yeah, Silver Smoke Ghoul. Okay, I think I'm just gonna hold up the ability to draw a card off the Spellbomb here. But yeah, if we do end up casting the Needle, that's what we'll name. Yeah, Conflagrate is also another card that Needle doesn't stop. Yeah, they shouldn't be playing Salvage Titan. At least I don't expect them to be. Okay, again, we don't really care too much about this Narcomoeba. Don't need to use our Spellbomb yet. Yeah, you can redeem a deck tech Atomic. Don't need to ask. Sometimes, like, if I'm in the middle of something, it'll just take me a couple minutes, but that's just always part of the deal. You are already dead? Yeah, maybe that has more value. Okay, so this will give them one more Narcomoeba. I mean, I can just bolt the Amalgam. Yeah, again, I think just sitting on the Spellbomb just is so strong here. Yeah, they've been judging pretty poorly. Hollow Containment, interesting. Okay, so my general impression of Containment Construct in these Hollow 1 decks is that it is bad. The best thing with the Hollow 1 decks is how fast you are. Playing a 2-mana 2/1 does not make your deck faster. In fact, you might even go as far to say it makes your deck slower. And it might even go as far to say it makes your deck slower. And it is also very much the case that it is a super fragile engine. You like basically just are always hoping to untap with it and hope for the best. I'm not a fan. I'm very much not a fan of Containment Construct as an engine in these decks. It's going to be the kind of card that like looks good when you get to untap with it, but it like your deck needs to be as fast as possible and it needs to be resilient. And like these are two things that this card does not do well. That being said, I do think Hollow One is like pretty viable. I saw Doomake play a pretty good list the other day. I think you should be playing 4 Asmo, 3 Cookbook like he was. I'm not a big fan of playing Kroxa over Ox of Agonis. Ox of Agonis, I think, is really where you want to be in this deck, so you can be mono red. Yeah, the Unearths also think like a little lost in the sauce. You also, I don't think, how can you play HCA in this deck? It kills so many of your own cards. And then I guess it exiles your graveyard too, which is really relevant. Yeah, you can't play this card in this archetype at all. Yeah. Tourach is kind of an interesting card if you're already splashing like this, but I don't think it's very necessary. Yeah, but again, I think when you play Hollow One, you really need to be an aggressive deck, and you really need to be you really need to not get super lost in the sauce with Containment Construct. So those are my general thoughts. Oh yeah, Tourach is actually just good in this matchup as a card that grows really big when they're discarding a bunch. Yeah, Boseiju hits the ley line, and then they also probably don't have very many, like, we didn't see any, like, dual or shock lands, did we? Yeah, I think I just want all the Boseijus. They probably have 1 or 2, but they can also mill them over, too. And, like, these as outs to ley line seems pretty good, too. Yeah, it feels great to win. We actually won game 1 against Dredge there without ever sacking our Spellbomb. Pretty lucky. Likely 0 basics. Yeah, but they might still have shock lands, which Boseiju can let them have. They have Sacred Foundry. I thought that was Inspiring Vantage. They might have. They might also have Sacred Foundry, but they have. That was Inspiring Vantage that was in play. They had Slogger Gloam deck that popped at 5-0s. Pretty fun. Not that good, but okay. It's like fun. Good in the grindy matchups, bad against the linear decks. Yeah, they might have had a Sacred Foundry in the yard. My opponent said BRB. So hopefully they come back soon. What was the loss? We lost a Glimpse combo this league. Didn't seem like a very good matchup. What's the best Dredge card for EDH? It's a fun little thought experiment. Probably Shenanigans. Is Chalice a necessity? Any viable alternatives? You can play a Void Mirror instead. I think it is a pretty important sideboard card. I would even potentially like a second copy, or like 1 Chalice, 1 Void Mirror, since the Cascade decks do seem to be like not a great matchup, but you are like, you do have Graveyard Hate against Living End, and you have Culling Ritual against Rhinos, so it's not like, so it's really like Glimpse combo is like the one Cascade deck that you don't have much coverage for, which I think is okay at the moment. I don't think that, like, Cascade decks in general aren't that popular right now, and of the 3, Glimpse is still the least popular. Probably Dakmore Salvage? Maybe. Oh, right, because of Get Rock Monster combo. Right. Yeah, Loma's probably pretty good there, too. Yeah, I haven't played EDH in a long time. I've been kind of hankering. I got the blue-white vehicle precon, and that thing is sick. There's like a lot of really good cards in there, including the Kappa Cannoneer. And I don't know if that's the EDH deck I want to build, but I kind of want to build one. I think I got a mulligan with a hand with no Graveyard Hate on the draw. Dragon Lord Freya with the 21 months. Thank you so much. It's a long time, my friend. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back the Wrenn and Six for sure, and then probably the Goyf, since I don't have green mana. Tourach gets pretty big in this matchup. Now we have green mana. Should I play the Lantern here? I still have the Sea Monster deck, but it's like, the Sea Monster deck is like a goofy casual deck that I play with my friends who all have like thematic goofy casual decks. So it's like, it's kind of like, we also like only play D&D really these days, so we like haven't like, I can't tell you the last time we played with those decks. So it's like, and it's also like, if I ever wanted to be like, hey guys, I can play Commander with you, if I ever got invited to something like that, I don't have a deck that I could like really realistically bring. Okay, I guess we're pretty forced to pop this Lantern here, huh? Got 2 Dark Amoebas, an Ox, and 1 Creeping Chill. Okay, definitely thinking that this turn's going to be Inquisition plus Ragavan. Take the Cathartic Reunion, and then... Do I even play the Ragavan into the Dark Blast? No. Yeah, the Dwarven Tribal. Do you like 8-rack decks? What do you think the deck needs to get better? I think they just need to cut the stupid racks. Like to be honest, it's like the thing about 8-rack is the card Kroxa. The card Kroxa is like it's both like it's like it's like your perfect win condition for a rack deck, and it's also like it's like your perfect win condition, and it is good for your game plan of discarding anyways. So it's like I just feel like I would be playing 4 Kroxa in any like discard focused win deck like that, and like probably no copies of the rack. Just no copies of the rack, especially in like the or Shrieking Affliction and like this Prismatic Ending March world. That could with Mardu Shadow's place in the meta. Do you think it performed up in meta? I think that deck is really good. I think the Mardu Shadow deck is really good. I think that it is not necessarily better than the just kick the Tourach. They just Dark Blasted in response though. I don't think it's necessarily better than the Grixis Shadow versions, but it's also like it is a deck that has like no card selection, and so like I'm not sure how important card selection is for Shadow, but you know, just like obviously decks like Grixis Shadow that get to play Iteration and Channeler lose less games to Mana Flood, Mana Screw variants because they have that card selection available to them. They still can lose sometimes, but like Mardu Shadow playing none of those cards and playing Street Wraith specifically are all cards that like make you lose more games to Mana Flood, Mana Screw. And like that is in theory fine, right? It's Magic the Gathering. Like you can't just like dismiss any deck that loses games to Mana Flood, Mana Screw. But like because you're playing an archetype that usually has access to that selection, I feel like that effect it feels a little more pronounced, if that makes sense. So that's kind of like what has made it a difficult thing to evaluate for me. Like how impactful is this like lack of selection, and how big of a deal is that? And I like the answer is honestly I just don't really know. But I definitely feel like the deck is good, a little underplayed. I know I haven't been playing it lately, but I've just also been like doing other things too, and I don't necessarily have like ideas. I think the list is pretty good at the moment. But we were also like 12-3 with it, or no, we were like 17-3 or something crazy like that. But in leagues at least, I just didn't do that well with it at the Hunter Burton. I don't know, there's 15 cards left in their library somehow. If I can draw a Shadowspear for my Tourach, maybe I can get there. Yeah, but I think it has to be like literally Shadowspear off the top this turn. Wait, why are they Dark Blasting the Tourach? Oh, they're triple Dark Blasting the Tourach. That is fancy. That is a fancy play if I've ever seen one. I guess I'll take a draw step. Maybe I can go like Seasoned Pyromancer into Goyf into Shadowspear or something ludicrous. Think Shadow will have a stock list again, or do you think there's room to flex? I think that I really doubt it's ever going to be nearly... Oh, okay, well, there's a Seasoned Pyromancer. I really doubt it's ever going to be nearly as stock as it was before the Luris ban, where it's like, you would just have like hour-long debates over like the last 3 flex spots and like, oh, Spike, I don't know. I really feel like Fatal Push is just the only card that could possibly be played at this spot. I really don't think that it's ever reasonable to play any copies of Lightning Bolt, Spike. I just don't think, I think you're old and out of touch for, like, wanting to play Lightning Bolts in any numbers ever. And it's just like, you just have endless debates over, like, the last, like, 2 card slots, and it's just so boring. I mean, we're not dead on board, but we are pretty dead this game. It's also, like, obviously a big problem that we're shuffling all these cards in their deck, so they're not just, like, decking themselves in, like, a couple turns. Crockett, thank you for the 4 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, definitely a turn too late. It's okay, good game 3 on the play, too. Shadowspear, still the best draw. Oof, never mind. We could have had Bolt up here. I mean, if we have Bolt up here, we're just dead on board to this school, right? Oh, I guess, no, we already played our land that turn, didn't we? Yeah, we played our land pre-combat. How can we hold the Bolt up? We played our land. We didn't play land turn 4? Okay, well, then, what? Okay, sure. Skipped the land drop the previous turn. I skipped the land drop that I could have hit. Oh, right. I was holding lands in hand those turns because I wanted to keep my life total high. Because I thought a Wrenn and Six ultimate was like more likely to be needing to use 7 mana in 1 turn. But I guess 7 mana in 1 turn was more relevant, huh? Okay, let's keep this. Yeah. I didn't think I wanted to keep fetching and stuff like against the Creeping Choke and Flaggerate deck. I couldn't see the situation where I needed 7 mana, but I guess there was one. Maybe I shouldn't have cast this. It's probably okay. I'll take the Thug. Oh, they hit Ancient Grudge? That's so bad for us. They still don't have another enabler. I think I am supposed to spell one there because of Ox, but it's not 100% clear. They are just going to cast their Stinkweed Imp, actually. Dang it. Yeah. Yeah, I shouldn't have cast the Inquisition. That was bad. Also just not going to attack. I've also done a pretty bad job of drawing Urza Saga this match. Alright, milling Prized Amalgam, 2 cards. They keep a card on top, which is definitely a Cathartic Reunion effect. Yeah, we have naturally drawn our Spellbomb effects a bunch. Ugh. We do have 6/7 Tarmogoyfs. Stinkweed, I'm holding them at bay for now, though. Alright, I'm done. I'm done. Freakly with Twitch Prime, appreciate you. I am done. Alright, Glorious 3-0 falls to 3-2.